Welcome to the Halloween Marathon of 2022.
Back in the early 90s, every company was trying to come up with the next big hit in the animal mascot gaming market. Sonic has started the craze, but not all companies follow that trend. Extended play production developers had met the creator of Chakan, is that how you pronounce it, Chakan? At a comic convention and liked the character so much they wanted to create a game. Sega helped publish the game, and so it was released for the 16-bit Genesis back in 1993. Seriously, how do you pronounce his name? Is it Chakan? Chakan? Shakan? Chakan. Who cares? He fought death himself and won. And one of the deals of the fight was that if Chakan won, then he would have eternal life. The catch is he would wander eternally until all evil in the universe was defeated. That part makes no sense to me because if he already has eternal life, then he was going to wander life forever anyway. But it gets a little more complicated in the comics. Now, I have seen this game before many times. I've seen the box for it, I have seen the screenshots, and I've even seen a little bit of the gameplay online. And you probably have too. But I never sat down and actually played this game until I did this video. I can't help but wonder if subconsciously my soul was actually keeping me from playing this game. I wonder if it knew what I know now. Let me explain. I talked about how Ghosts 'n Goblins and Ninja Gaiden were some of the hardest games I've ever played growing up as a kid. I had no idea that a game could be this frustratingly difficult to play until I got my hands on Chakan. Damn the video game gods. The game has you starting off on some kind of a cosmic hub. It's the best way I can describe it. It's basically just floating in the middle of space, and so in this hub you have different doors that you can go into. Those are the levels that you start off with. There are 4 different sections to start off the game, and each section contains multiple levels and a boss. Right away, as you walk around this cosmic hub, you're going to realize a couple of things. First of all, it's that your character walks very slow, and there's no running mechanics. And I'm talking slow. And it's a good thing Chakan is immortal because he would take forever to get anywhere. There is a way to press down on the attack button to have him do like this rolling attack, kind of like Sonic. This allows for a little bit of faster movement, but it's also a problem, and I'm going to get to that a little bit later. Your attack range is limited. Chakan can swing in all directions and can even hold out his swords and move them about in different directions as well. This is exceptionally helpful when you are on small platforms and you need to tread carefully, or you run the risk of having to go through the trouble of dying and being respawned at the Cosmic Hub. Get used to that. So from now on, I'm calling this the Cosmic Hub. I don't know what the name for it is. So for some reason, even though you could swing in every direction, the enemies still hit you. I don't know if it's due to crappy hit detection or the game is just simply
Pure evil.
Now remember that rolling move that I talked about earlier? Be careful because many times I found myself pulling off this move by mistake while on a platform and I fall to my death, and then I have to start all over again from the Cosmic Hub. And you're gonna fall many times too. Luckily, or maybe in this case unluckily, is that a word? You have infinite lives. That means that you can die 1 million times and come back 1 million times to play this freaking wreck of a game. It's like Groundhog Day, but evil. I can see why the developers went ahead and implemented this feature. Maybe it's due to the fact that in the comic book he is immortal and therefore cannot die, hence the same feature was placed in the video game. Okay, I'll give him that, but I'm going to take it one step further. I think the developers were nothing short of demonic evil goblins that somehow got their hands on a Genesis development kit and decided to create this damn game. That is the only reason to explain why this game right here is so insanely difficult and was given very limited jumping controls. Now that in itself wouldn't be too bad, but this game requires pixel perfect jumping in order to land on platforms or whatever else that you're trying to land on. This right here is a recipe for pure disaster and frustration. And just when you think you have the jump mechanic figured out, the game reminds you that you do not. If the level design and your character's movements weren't bad enough, you have a time limit to deal with. Now you see that hourglass right there? That's not just there for looks, that's there to remind you that you are up against the clock, meaning that you must complete all levels before that hourglass expires. If for some reason you do not, then the game will throw you back out all the way to the cosmic hub, and you have to restart all over again. Not all over again from the last level you were playing, but from the very beginning. All items and everything else that you collected will be lost. Now, do you think that's bad enough? Try doing it in one sitting. You see, it wasn't evil enough to make this game insanely difficult and extremely hard to control with awful level design, but it wants to make sure that you are in full pain and agony as you play it, knowing full well there's no password feature included. If that was the case, this game might be a little more tolerable. And by saying more tolerable, I mean as in you might just not want to play it at all, as opposed to playing it and having your soul burning in the fires of hell. This game also has you collecting different types of potions, which you can therefore mix and get different results. So after falling and dying for the 178th time, I decided, hey, let me try out the potions a couple of times and see what happens. Okay, not bad. Some of them do help. You can also collect specific weapons throughout the levels that can help you in other levels. I'm gonna go on record here as saying I got nowhere near to completing most of the levels, and the only weapon that I was able to retrieve was the damn axe, which is very slow and very sluggish, but I'm sure it's good for something. What that is, I have no idea. Now, when I decided to review this game, I had no idea it was going to be this bad. Not as bad as that other DOS game of which I refuse to say its name, but this one right here is such a disappointing experience because the Genesis is so much better than this. I know, I have played amazing titles on this very console during its heyday and continue to do so today. One thing is to take a look at a video of a game online and assume what the gameplay will be like. Another thing is to actually play the game and be in full control of the character and realize that,
holy shit, what have I done?
That's a shame too, because this game right here has potential and the graphics are not that bad. I also like the soundtrack of this game, very moody. The overall animation of the characters, not bad either. Actually, it looks pretty damn good. So with all that said and me refusing to play this game any further, I am just gonna move on to the scores. Graphic wise, I'm gonna give it a 6. It does have some nice animations, some nice parallax scrolling, and that's pretty much where it ends. Maybe the developers wanted to make the game look like this to maybe sort of look like the comics? I don't know, I've never read the comics. Gameplay gets a 3. You know, sometimes it all just comes down to controls and overall level design and all that stuff. So I'm going to combine that all into one for this game and say that it sucks. In the Halloween meter, this game, I'm going to give it a 4. And I'm being generous here. It has all the looks of a Halloween type game. It looks scary. It sounds interesting, but in the end it just fails in so many levels. I had very high hopes for this game, and to say that I've been let down would be a huge understatement. I've heard that there's a very strong, small online community that loves and follows this game. If that's the case, good for you. I'm not gonna sit here and blast you for liking a game. Everybody's entitled to their favorite games, regardless of the type of feedback that that game gets. So be back here tomorrow when I will be talking about a game on the PC from an indie developer. This one actually surprised me. See you then.